we were talking about it a little bit beforehand, and this is going to be a weird one to talk about because
Yeah, because it's like the throughout this movie is that it's like I liked it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I actually liked it a lot.
I like it more than Try, but I do have a few issues with it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like the big thing is that it's like, this is not a plot driven movie, like, as much as, you might think it would be. Like, this is very much just about, like, like, Ty and Matt are growing up and things are changing, and there's a lot of time devoted to them just, like, accepting that they're adults now.
Yeah, there's a most of the beginning of the movie after a big fight with Parrotmon, uh, which I think you're seeing a picture of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of the movie is just a big fight with Parrotmon and showing that the kids, now college students, um, are using their Digimon to fight off other Digimon who invade the real world.
Yeah,
And
like,
boy has Ty gotten over his hangups on fighting in the city.
yeah. Yeah, that's like a really interesting thing about this movie because it's like, alright, just starts off and it's like, oh yeah, like, effing, like, I wonder what they're gonna keep from Try. And the answer is basically nothing. Try might as well have just not existed. Like, the only, like, reference we have to Try even being canon is that you see Mei Kumon for, like, a brief cameo with, like, Mei-chan.
I was gonna say you see Mako too.
Yeah, yeah. Right, her name was, yeah, Mako, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just appear for a second, and they're given less screen time than the effing, like, World Tour '02 kids that were just one-off characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was cool seeing them again,
Yeah.
even though they didn't really do anything.
They didn't really do anything, but I'm glad they got the cameo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's weird, cause, this just starts off, and it's like the Parrotmon just, like, shows up. And at first I was legitimately like, oh, is this, like, going back to, like, show when Greymon found for the first time? Cause it's, like, the same area, like, same Digimon everything.
Yeah,
And it's like,
this is
no.
yeah.
Parrotmon just
So
showed up again.
yeah, back when we started first trying to watch this, I was trying to share it through Discord so we could watch it together. And yeah, he mentioned that, and I was like, no, it's daytime.
Because, like, the layout of the scene is like it's supposed to be a reference to that movie, but it's just
Yeah.
so identically set that it's like, wait, is this just the past? I don't understand.
No, they just wanted to be like, hey, longtime viewers, remember this?
Yeah, like, I feel like outside of that, this movie has been pretty good about, like, getting its cameos in. Because, like, you get the brief references to a bunch of different things, and it's like, okay, yeah, like, got it, Like, it's not, like, a big detail or whatever, it's just, like, there in the background, and it's like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah. And hey, calling back to the beginning of the series is very appropriate for like what this movie's about.
Yeah. Like, this is in, like, well, I don't know, did this, like, OVA come out, like, before the anime started? Uh,
Uh
I
oh,
for Yeah, the Paramount
the
stuff, because I
Greymon
forget
versus
exactly how it worked.
yes, yes, I believe that came out before the actual series, like in
Yeah.
Japan at least.
So not just like the beginning of the series, but it's like, the beginning of like everyone's relationship with Digimon in general, which is like, it is very appropriate. But I remember
Yeah.
at the time I was just watching, it's like, ah, come on, he's gonna find with Greymon again. We're gonna do the same matchup again.
I mean, they gotta have the scene where Greymon fights him, but I was kind of hung up on the fact that, like, he could at least go ultimate and then probably
Yeah.
mitigate a lot of the damage they're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, boy, is it probably a good thing he did go ultimate right away, knowing how things work in this film.
True.
Like, this is the one time where you're like, oh yeah, no, just go Mega, just finish him off. And you look at the end of things and it's like, oh, alright.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Also, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, because, like, the big, like, I just gonna, like, go straight to it, because, like, the big hook of this movie is that it's like, oh, they're like going around, they're like trying to like, like stop the new evil Digimon that's appearing and stuff. And like a ring of light appears around like Ty and Matt's Digivices. And like the ring is just sort of like losing sections to it as like time passes. And the big mechanic is that it's like when you grow up, you like lose your potential and stuff, and essentially it's like you have to move on, Like the reason
Which is
terrorists are kids is because they
bull.
have all this potential and energy to them, and like as you grow up, you sort of like lose that, and the more you evolve, the more you like kind of peak early and stagnate, and then your bond begins to weaken until your Digimon fades away. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like
it
every
can
time they
also,
evolve, it's been costing them time, basically.
yeah. Also, you can try to grow up too fast.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's definitely a thing.
So I want to say, I didn't watch the sub. I watched the dub, but I'm pretty sure it's faithful to the original with music and everything.
Yeah, there's one thing I'm very curious about just right off the bat, and that's that like so I'll just say it right now, like they beat Parrotmon and they like, go back to like Izzy's lab and stuff and they meet some new characters. I should
Yeah,
also probably mention that it's like everyone just helps out beat Parrotmon. Angelomon shoots like a million arrows, which is kind of cool.
yeah. They pin him to the ground and open
Yeah.
a portal.
But yeah, they beat Parrotmon because Digimon just been appearing randomly. And then we're introduced to like a couple of new characters who are like scientists. At first, I forget what her name is, but like
Menoa Bellucci.
yeah, Menoa. Like she's the first one that appears. As soon as she walks on screen, the music changes, and it's immediately like, okay, you're the bad guy. You're the villain of the film immediately. And they tried to switch and bait with it, but boy does it not work, because it's kind of obvious. But yeah, what I want to mention is that, like, in the sub, they make a kind of, like, a brief mention out how it's like, she's kind of, like, a foreigner, right?
Yeah, they're from America, I believe.
Yeah, so she has, like, some, like, pretty good, English to her.
Okay.
So yeah, I was wondering if, like, I guess they wouldn't, like, really add anything to change that, because then they'd have to, like, mess with the material or whatever. But I know, I was kind of wondering if they, like, kept that intact somehow. Because I remember they're like,
Uh,
oh yeah, she's from America and stuff, and she's like, good morning, everyone! And everyone's like, oh yeah, your Japanese is really nice for being in, like, America or whatever.
yeah, no, there wasn't anything weird about that. She just walks into the scene and starts speaking because it's dubbed.
Yeah. There wasn't any scene where you get a big dramatic reveal that Dan means I love you in Meikumon speech.
Ugh.
I feel like that's still, like, that's the worst it's ever been. Oh, man. But yeah, like, so a big flop. I'm just gonna get right straight. I'm just gonna
Okay.
go right to the point this time.
Okay, so the scene, I'm guessing TK probably says something like, "Your Japanese is good," right?
Yeah.
Okay, in the dub, he just says, "Welcome to Japan. If you need a guide, let me know or let us know or whatever."
Alright, that's a pretty
Um,
fair workaround.
yeah, it's just acknowledging that she's a foreigner.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna say that I knew she was gonna be the villain right off the bat, but I wasn't surprised when it turned out to be the case.
Yeah. Because, like, because here's the sequence of events, right? Because you're like, you see her and her partner just show up, and, you know, it's like her and this, like, guy who's with her. I forget his name, it doesn't really matter. But it's like,
He's a stern-faced guy, and he looks really suspicious immediately.
yeah. But yeah, they show up, and, you know, you see that she's got this big, like, you know, blue barf-like hair clip on, like, her little ponytail and stuff. And
It's
she's
like, oh, that's
like,
cute, because Butterfly, the
yeah.
opening song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, and then, like, that's probably still actually true. Because, like, they find out there's, like, an evil Digimon who's going around, and he's Eosmon. There's an intro
Yeah.
right there. It's like this weird, like, it's made out of, like, weird hexagons and stuff, you know? It's a very weird looking Digimon that appeared from inside the net.
Yeah, and I don't know if they do it in the sub, but in the dub, I think they try to mislead the viewer a little bit by claiming that it's the way it blocks outward attacks is with moth scales.
Yeah, that's in the sub too. They're very straightforwardly like, oh yeah, it's like a moth.
Yeah, not a butterfly, a moth.
Yeah. So it's like, you let that for a second, and it's like, okay, yeah, like, I did make the connection at first, even though I should have made it immediately, but it's like, oh, right, because butterfly. So this is her Digimon.
I didn't make that connection, but I was like, okay, what is this field they're setting up? There's something to this.
Yeah, because, like, I picked up pretty quickly when they're like, yo, not immediately, but it's like as soon as you see her partner, because, like, there's a point where she mentions she has, like, a partner as a kid, and it's, like, a different Digimon, but it's, like, a butterfly Digimon, and it's like, oh, Eosmon is her partner now.
Yeah, her former partner was Morphomon.
Yeah. Let's see, I show a picture of that. Yep.
The funny thing,
Yep.
the funny thing about this is, I think at one point during another podcast, I looked up Morphomon for some reason, and I think I read the partner. I think I read who the partner was aloud.
I
Like,
don't remember that at all, but it's possible.
I think I did, and we just didn't. I didn't think anything of it because the name was unfamiliar, and then I just forgot.
Right, yeah, so a big thing with this movie is that it's like Menoa, I think? Yeah, Menoa.
Yeah, Menoa.
Yeah, she like had Morphomon as a partner, and yo, she's Guard Digimon partner is like super into it and stuff. And like she skipped a bunch of grades to go to college early, and like because she grew up too fast and like yo kind of like didn't live out that potential she has as a kid, like it gets rid of the time she has as a tamer, and like her Digimon just fades away, and it like
Apparently she was like a super genius, like Ken, because like Ken's like, oh yeah, I've heard of her.
yeah. So her
By the way,
Digimon.
by the way, the 02 kids are actually in this movie.
Yeah,
And they
like
do
that's so surprising. Like holy crap.
and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, like I'm glad to see him actually do things.
The 02 kids are in this more than some of the other characters.
The 02 kids are in this more than Mimi or Sora.
Or they're in it more than Kari and TK.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, like Menoa's like Digimon fades away and she's like super upset about it. So she just becomes obsessive and was like trying obsessively to like, find a way to like recreate her Digimon using her like super genius programmer skills.
Yeah.
And like one day there's this weird aura that just like comes across the world for whatever reason, just because digital world nonsense or whatever. And it like somehow goes into her data and makes it actually work. And creates a Digimon with the power to like digitize people's consciousness and put them in basically like a dream world, sort of.
For anyone who's played Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, it's Eden Syndrome, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So she's
It's pretty much weaponized Eden Syndrome.
so she's going around and like basically stealing the minds and consciousnesses of like various tamers so she can like put them in this like weird crystal world on the internet she's created where they could just like live out their childhood forever with their Digimon and just like not worry about losing their like effing partners ever again and stuff.
It's the freaking infinite Tsukuyomi.
Yeah, pretty much. Like she's infinite Tsukiyomiing people so they could just be with their partners forever and not have to accept growing up or death.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So like all women when they lose their Digimon go crazy, right? That's what this movie tells me.
I I like when you take it with try, that's kind of the messaging here.
That's what happened to Maki, that's what happened to Kari, that's what happened to Menoa.
Oh. Like
that's one of the main things that I one of my main gripes with this movie is that it's like it seems to be putting forth that women who lose their Digimon go nuts and turn into villains.
I do like that when like Minna was doing her big thing and she's like like proclaiming herself to be a goddess and that she's like like taking these like people and like returning them to their childhoods and stuff. Like the entire time she seems completely convinced that she's doing the right thing. To the point where it's like, Ty and Matt are trying to stop her and she's actively like, no, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to everyone? Just let everyone be at peace.
Yeah, but the whole time she's still doing crazy, like wide-eyed anime psychopath eyes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do like the moment where she like unveils her big plan and stuff, and you see all the kids and they're like dream crystals and stuff, and like English, she's just like, "Welcome to Neverland."
Yeah, she calls it Neverland.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not sure if you like. It's fine.
Wait, no, she calls it Neverland in Japanese?
Yeah, like she says it in English.
Oh man, what'd she call it in the dub? I think she calls it like the Never World or something.
Yeah, no, in the sub she just straight up says in English, "Welcome to Neverland," and everyone's like, holy shit.
Neverland makes way more sense because it's a reference to Peter Pan where children don't grow up.
Yeah, and like, I just want to mention, like, I don't know if you're like, paying that attention or not, but it's like, you see a bunch of these different crystal worlds for all of you are like Digidestined, and it's like, each one of them is like a reference.
I noticed Izzy was in like the tube from the factory.
Yeah, and like, I think Kari's supposed to be in like the machine town or whatever, because she's like falling with Gabumon and there's like gears in the background. And you see like, I'm pretty sure Mimi's like on the stage where she's like, singing to Shogun Gekomon or whatever, because it's like a stage framework around him. And you see like Joe's like, looking up at like Mount Infinity and stuff, Yeah.
So before we move on from like what I was talking about, why did Himekawa get it so much worse than Menoa?
Cause like
Himekawa didn't do anything wrong in particular. She was banking on the reset of the digital world, but it's like from what I remember, she didn't cause it.
Yeah, like I want to like find a reason, but at the same time, I feel like we all just know it's because Try sucks, and Try was trying way too hard to be dark and edgy.
Yeah, that's what bugs me. Is like Himekawa was banking on the reset of the digital world, but she wasn't responsible for it. Menoa captures probably hundreds of kids, if not like hundreds of kids, and uh, uh, like knocks them out unconscious in the real world, never to wake up. She just gets arrested and taken away.
Yeah, like, I do like that she at least just gets sent to prison and we, like, see the handcuffs go on her. Because
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, there is a way to actually deal with people other than killing them or whatever. It's called
yeah,
prison.
yeah, and it's fine. It's like great. Okay, there's it's not like I'm wanting worse for her. It's just why did Himekawa get like killed or worse for
Man,
the for the terrible act of being depressed?
like, the terrible act of, like, trying to get her partner back and, like, inadvertently... I don't think she even sped up the reset, did she?
No, Himekawa, from what I remember, Himekawa didn't do anything except take advantage of the situation. Homeostasis was doing a bunch of bullcrap already, anyways.
Yeah, she was just trying to get her Digimon back.
Yeah, and like she was crazy and obsessive about it, but that's all she's guilty of, really.
So, I do apologize for anyone who might not have watched Try that, like, we did cover it, so I feel like this is fair game. But yeah,
Yeah,
Himekawa just ends up in the dark ocean and she gets raped by,
that's
like, the Divermon,
speculation.
presumably.
Agumon,
Dragamon, right, yeah, because he's gonna make her his bride or whatever. And it's this
or they
weirdly just terrific ending for her. It's so out of nowhere.
yeah, and he says that, but there's no indication that actually happens. They could have just killed her for all we know, but
Yeah.
it's implied from what we hear from the Dark Ocean stuff in Zero Two,
Yeah,
because
like,
Dragomon wanted a bride, and his first attempt was Kari.
I yeah, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt and be like, whatever, this is like digital world or whatever, so maybe Dragomon's not actually thinking of sex, he just wants someone to like rule with him or so. I don't know, man.
The implications aren't great either
The
way.
implications aren't amazing.
Point is, Himekawa got it worse than she deserved.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like even back then we were like, holy crap, what even is this?
Yeah, yeah. Even back then, it's like, dude, she missed her Digimon,
Yeah.
and seeing what it's like in this movie to lose your Digimon, I don't blame her.
Yeah. Because it's
Uh,
like...
oh, as someone who's read the Aragon books, since like I don't know, like middle school or something, or maybe the beginning of high school, but in those stories, it's always pointed out how painful it is to lose your dragon partner. And it's
Yeah.
like losing a part of yourself to the point where
Yeah.
like dragon riders don't want to do anything after it happens or like whatever.
Yeah, it's like, it's like if your best friend died or something,
It's worse than that
Yeah.
because it's like if you when you lose your dragon partner, it's like losing a part of your soul. Like they're linked that closely.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, the kids get their Digimon and they form bonds with them to like save the world or whatever the digital world needs of them. And then it just rips them away when they grow up.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Thanks, digital world. That's a good system. That's good. By
I
the
do be
way, there's
fair,
no
like, yeah, that does
there's
kind of make sense, honestly.
there's no indication that the Digimon go back to the digital world. It just says they disappear.
Yeah, it'd be a nice middle ground if they did go back, and, they could be like, oh yeah, Ty can go and visit Agumon sometimes, but,
Nope,
like,
they're
at the
done.
same time, like, oh, he can't be in the real world or whatever, but they're not gonna do that.
No, they had to go with let's tear the children's partners away from them, and not only tear them away, but like delete them from existence. Because why not? There's
Yeah.
got to be a little bit of Digimon Try spite in there somewhere.
Like, I feel like I don't see it that way at all, really. Because it's like,
I'm not crazy about the setup.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about
Oh, hello? Oh my gosh, it may have lagged out.
it's not lifelong because they're going to disappear when you grow up.
Yeah. I do want to point out this puts like a huge like wrench in Genai's whole thing of Digimon are immortal and stuff.
I mean, they are. Oh, yeah, well, if they're not, yeah, Digimon are immortal unless they're partnered to a human.
Yeah. They
Also,
don't.
speaking of Jinai, he shows up for like a single scene, and he's not evil.
Yeah, they just like fix that off screen, I guess.
Yeah, Jinai's not evil, and he shows up for the sole purpose of telling Tai that it's not possible to avoid losing your partner.
Yeah, this is like
Thanks, Jinai.
it's like, your pet's gonna die eventually. Like, this has always been kind of the implication, I feel like. And it's like, alright, you have to make peace with it eventually. Like, you can't just, like, get to the point where you're like, oh, you're like an 80-year-old man and Agumon's still around and stuff, you know?
Why not?
Because, like, I don't know, like, people drift apart and, like, die and go their separate ways and stuff, and, at some point you
This
have
is
to
a
accept that, like, not everything's really gonna last.
I understand that's the message they wanted to go with, but this is like a fictional world. It doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be all sad and emotional, but it is, and I
It,
appreciate it.
look, that's one of the reasons I do like this because I felt things. Unlike with Try,
Yeah.
I
Like,
was legit really bummed out at that end scene. Holy crap!
yeah. Because I feel like that's where this is gonna be a big split for people, right? Because, like, I got to that ending scene and I was like, oh man, this is so good, it's making me feel things, holy crap, oh my god, Gabumon. And I know other people are going to look at that exact same scene and have the exact same reaction, and they're going to look at the screen and be like, I hate this, why are you making me feel bad? Because, like, I was talking to someone else on Discord who was like, like, I just kind of mentioned the movie about because I was just, like, having a huge thing with it. And they're
Uh-huh.
just like, in spoilers or what, just like, oh, so, like, the Digimon die at the end? Man, they made a worse ending than, like, the end of O2. Holy crap.
I I think it sucks. I think the handling of your Digimon disappears forever is awful. They're like tongue in cheek, like, oh man, I'm sure we'll see each other again someday. And it's like, but there's no indication that that's actually possible or ever going to happen. It's just something they keep saying.
Yeah, like, I do want to clarify, like, do you not like it because you think it's like bad writing or whatever, or do you not like it because you like hate the direction it's going specifically?
I don't like the whole setup. The whole thing rubs me the wrong way, where it's like the digital world calls these kids in to save it and gives them Digimon partners, and they go on these adventures and like all these experiences and stuff. And then it arbitrarily is like, okay, you're an adult now. Say goodbye to your Digimon. What a reward! What a reward for saving the world multiple times.
Yeah, I guess from that perspective, I like see where you're coming from.
I don't like it. Also, you did you think it was weird that Sora is like not in this movie at all?
Oh yeah, it's super weird.
So I looked into that. Apparently, her Digivice it was her ring of light was degrading even faster than Tai and Matt's.
Oh really? Yeah, I actually
Yes,
didn't like. Yeah, I guess we did see her Digivice, and it looked really like dark and burnt out for a second. And I didn't catch on because like when your Digimon goes, your Digivice becomes like this. So I didn't catch that it was like that's what happened.
yeah. Sora's not in this movie because Biomon, her bond with Biomon is fading away even faster than Tai and Matt, and so she just doesn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Man, that's rough for her. Cause like
Hey, hey, guess what? The fun thing is it gets to happen to everybody. Thanks, Digital World. Or Yggdrasil or whoever.
yeah. Oh man. Is get the scene where like effing like I just want to talk about this for a second because you just get the big scene where like they're like all walking by and they're like just like like thinking back on their adventures or whatever and like you see Matt just walk by the like music store and he sees a kid playing the harmonica and he's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I used to do that once. And he
Yeah.
is that big one at the end where he like just Gabumon's going away and he just buys a harmonica to play to him one last time. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah, the last scene of this movie is Ty and Matt hanging out with their respective Digimon, Agumon and Gabumon. And they're just hanging around as the last like pip of light on their Digivice is there, like getting ready to fade away.
Yeah, cause
And like
cause these are
they,
the people who got the megas first. They like peaked super early. So it makes
yeah,
sense that theirs are like degrading faster.
yeah, and in the end, it's just like I don't remember what Ty looks away for, or like Matt, Ty and Matt look away for a second, and then they turn around again, and their partners are just gone.
Yeah.
Like Gabumon says, like you're the best tamer, uh, you're the best tamer ever,
And
and like
Gabumon says I'd like some shaved ice.
Agumon, not Gabumon.
Agumon.
Yeah, and Ty's like, oh yeah, your favorite's melon, right?
Man, like, there's just something that's like, when like characters go away and they do a really good job about it, so it's like it feels real. Where you stop and you're like, this makes me rethink a lot. Really put some stuff in perspective. Gabumon was such a better partner, dude.
Was he?
Because, like, Matt went through some crap and he was just there the entire time. Like, I don't know. I feel like, maybe it's because Gagumon's just so simple. I don't feel it as much, but it's like Gagumon's going away. And I'm just like, oh no, don't go.
I mean, I felt bad for both of them,
Oh,
but like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't get any indication that Agumon wouldn't have been there for Ty had he gone through the same thing.
Oh, yeah, like, I'm not trying to say that at all, but it's like, I know, it's just when Gabumon's just doing stuff is when it, like, really hit me. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah. Also, there are scenes where the kids are like, the Digimon are like, "Hey, we have to fight," or somebody else is saying that they have to fight or whatever, and Ty is like, "Don't you know how awful this is for us?" And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, the Digimon are the ones who are going to disappear.
Yeah, but the Digimon seem pretty fine with it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a point where Agumon's just like, "We have to go back over there and fight." And Ty's like, "Don't you know what that means for you?" And he's like, "What? Do you think I'm stupid? Of course I know."
Yeah. Because, like, the
Like,
Digimon have, like, made peace with this whole thing. Like, they kind of understand that it's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna die one day. Like, we've waited all these years for our partners and stuff, and, we've had good times together. They're like, yeah, this has to happen.
yeah. And there's the scene where like Agumon and Gabumon are telling Ty and Matt how much they've grown and everything, and it's kind of like it's like a reverse of like the kids have been seeing the Digimon grow and evolve and get stronger the whole time repeatedly,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of like turns around the other way, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, they're like, man, you've sure grown, Ty. And he's like, yeah, but you're still the same as ever.
Digimon have been watching their partners grow the whole time as well.
Man, just talking about this is kind of getting to me a bit because it's like these are characters I've like grown up with since I've like was like a kid. Like these are some like my earliest memories, right?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why it hits so like why it's such a frustrating thing, the way it ends, because like it's hard to say that I like this movie when I hate how they handled the ending so much, but there's even like a glimmer of hope where I think somebody says like, well, there is like one way for you to prolong your time with your Digimon is if there's still some potential in there somewhere. And it's like, okay, well, I know they get new evolutions by the end of this movie. I've
Oh.
seen them a little bit, so it's like, hey, there's potential. There's new potential right there. Also,
Yeah.
screw that. Digimon have infinite potential. They can turn into anything.
It's like, it's not the Digimon's potential, it's like Ty and Matt's potential, and it's just, it's
Yeah,
run
but
at,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but their new forms are born from like their determination or whatever.
Yeah, I, I feel like maybe that's why they had that bit of extra time. Cause like, so just getting into the movie again, like, they fight the Eosmon, the new like villain Digimon. And it's literally like a fight to save all the kids from like, just from just being like trapped in the crystal forever. So like, they're getting ready to like take down this foul boss monster, and you see their digivices, and there's like nothing left. And it's like they get their big foul evolution off, and you see the new forms and stuff. And like, I feel like, just the potential to reach those new forms is what bought them a bit of extra time. Because they should have like faded away as soon as that fight was over.
Yeah, because it did look like the ring disappeared at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, the new forms, they're not, they're just called like Agumon Bond of Bravery and Gabumon Bond of Friendship, I think.
Yeah.
Like they're not like variants of War Greymon or Metal Garurumon. They're like like this is a final stage of Agumon, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So how do you feel about these designs?
I'm not crazy about them.
I feel like Gabumon got off so much better. Cause like I get what they're going for, cause it's like, they still have like the traits of their monster forms and stuff, and they still have like the same types of attacks, but they've like become way more human, basically. So you
Yeah,
see like Gabumon's final form's face, and it's like a guy in a Mel Wolf suit, and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you see like Agumon's, and it's like a weird human mouth on like a dinosaur man body with like the Greymon head, and it looks
yeah,
very weird. It looks very bad, I think.
yeah. I'm not crazy about the new forms. I hadn't like I knew these existed. I had seen glimpses of them. But out of like not wanting to be completely spoiled, I didn't look too close to them.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't like it. I don't like these forms.
Effing like Gabumon's final form just gets effing like Gundam falls. They can just shoot out, they just shoot little lasers off of them. Just
Yeah,
launches the
Gabumon.
little drones, and that's cool. And you go to Agumon, and it's like, oh, he just shoots fire beams. He has fire beams, and he has like flaming arm claws that come out. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's fine,
I,
but eh.
I'd almost prefer that like they just turned into their mega forms one last time,
Yeah, I could see how, like, they get
and
like,
they're just like super boosted with power or
yeah.
whatever.
Like, I understand, like, hyping this up by giving them new forms and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, you could have just done, like, War Greymon X and, like, Melgarurumon X. I feel like that would have worked really well.
Well, I mean, I kind of also understand it being a new form because
Yeah.
it's like this is an evolution that only happens right at the end. Like they can't do this ever again.
Has there been, like, a new form every single movie?
Possibly because Omnimon got one in the last one.
Because I'm trying to think through, it's like, alright, Omnimon got one, you have, like, the original was the reveal of Greymon, so that counts. and you have like the Hurricane Touchdown revealed Golden Rapidmon, which, fair enough. Effing, like, then you have the O2 movie with, like, Imperial Drawn Paladin mode, and Tri ended with, like, Omnimon Merciful mode.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense. It only makes sense that they try to hype up the new thing. It's like, look, new form for something.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at the Agumon design, and it wouldn't be awful if the head was better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because it's like, it's the head, and it's the fact that he feels weirdly naked.
Oh yeah, it does. He feels really naked. It's even though it looks like he's supposed to be wearing like a bunch of armor and stuff. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, because it's like, it's the Greymon killer we've been used to as being, like, skin for so long. And you go the face, and, like, the mouth also has that coloration, and it's like, ugh.
yeah, and I this is such a weird podcast because like I said, we're talking about designs and like the style of writing and everything, and not really that much about the movie. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Watch it. Like, just watch it. If you're a fan of Digimon, you're probably gonna watch it anyways if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Um, the 02 kids get to do some stuff, and they're pretty fun actually.
Armadillomon's claw, like, somehow hacks into a keycard swiper and opens a door.
Oh yeah, that scene. Yeah, I thought about that, and it's like, well, he's made of data, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to assume he swiped his claw and just ran a million algorithms until it got the right like code.
That seems very complicated for Armadillomon, honestly.
It doesn't matter. It's just the Digimon thing. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with his intelligence. It's just he's a being made of data.
I'm currently running through twice on million algorithms at once, Dagya!
Also, I think they didn't have the same voice actor. They forgot how Armadillomon's supposed to sound in English. Hawkmon didn't sound great either.
But yeah,
If they're going for the dub voice of Armadillomon, I could do a better Armadillomon than what they got for this, because you know how he sounds when he's a baby, like Armadillomon's baby form.
I think so.
Well, I mean, just imagine, how they all sound, basically.
Yeah.
They do, kind of the high-pitched, fake voice thing. They
Yeah.
kind of kept that for Armadillomon, and it sounds weird.
What? Oh, that's very bizarre.
Yeah, and then Hawkmon, I think they tried to play up his British sounding, his Britishness.
Yeah, that's very odd. But yeah, I should mention that it's like, while the main characters are just off, like, just dealing with their, like, whole, like, crisis and stuff, and, about how they're getting older and stuff, like, the O2 kids are just out traveling the world to get information to figure out the mystery.
Less so the world. They're just well, Yoli starts in Spain, I think.
Yeah, because they mentioned that, like, they've been using the, like, the digital world portals to, like, travel to different places across the globe.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and, like, stuff goes down, and, like, a million Eosmon just fly off into, the real world to, like, kidnap people's minds. And, like, the O2 kids are fighting these things off to save Tamers.
Yeah, they're fighting in New York. And also, here's another thing. So you know how 02 ended and it shows all the kids as adults with their Digimon?
Yeah, that's not canon now.
Is it? Because
It would have to be.
Is it? Because it's David. David sure is talking a lot about opening that ramen shop in New York that they talk about at the end of 02.
I mean, even before that, like, very end thing, he was like, oh yeah, my dream's to open a ramen shop, right?
Still, it's like, I think Ty's ending in that was like he becomes an ambassador between the digital and real worlds of Agumon, and I don't know. I guess if they wanted to retcon those endings, fine. It's just weird.
It's super weird. So it's like Matt's never gonna go to space and be the first man on Mars with Gabumon.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I feel like some of those are gonna hit harder than others when they don't come true. Because it's like, I kind of liked, Izzy just still hiding Tennomon around and stuff. But it's like,
Yeah.
Tennomon's gotta go one day.
Oh, by the way, why didn't Izzy just have Tentomon shoot Menoa? It's like, oh, Menoa's the bad guy. Tentomon shoot her.
I mean, he probably could have, but that would have just been murder.
Okay, restrain her. You're a Digimon. Like, do something.
Yeah. I don't know. Could Tennomon, like, restrain her?
Digimon, I don't know, probably.
Maybe Kabuterimon could.
Turn
Kabuterimon
into
for sure.
Yeah, Digivolve to Kabuterimon and just stop her before she can summon Eosmon.
Like, she makes her big, like, dramatic statement or whatever, and you just see an explosion as Kabuterimon bursts out of the room with Izzy in his hand.
Yeah, Izzy should have totally been like, got it, villain, capture.
Yeah.
And then
like
there's this scene where
it should have been like Kabuterimon like bursts out of the building and you see he's like holding Izzy and he has like a short fight scene with Eosmon or whatever. Or like the implication that they're gonna fight.
Yeah. Also there's the scene where there's like a weird video that's set up of like Kari and TK tied up in a warehouse. And it's like, which one's next? And it's like, all right, who's the crazy serial killer psychopath who sent this? I thought I was watching Digimon, not freaking Batman, Dark Knight, whatever.
Yeah, it's which one's next? And that's like shortly, I believe, after you see that like the guy with Menoa is like getting a gun ready for something.
Yeah, and then I don't know how it is in the sub, but Matt shows up to confront him, and he's like, "So you sniffed out my evil little plan or something?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
and then it was just to mislead the viewer because he's like, "Actually, I'm FBI."
Yeah,
of course, this is after Matt's about to have Gabumon shoot him in the face.
I think in the sub he says something like, "Oh, you figured out my scheme" or something to that effect. So it's not much better, but it's like, oh. And the entire time I'm like, I don't buy this.
In the dub, he literally, like, well, not literally, because I don't remember exactly what it is, but he says something like, he says evil plan. And I'm like, shut up. And it's like, okay, if this guy's on the good guy side, he needs to explain himself, because Gabumon's about to shoot him.
And boy, did he never explain. Well, he says he's FBI, which I guess is good enough.
Yeah, heck, I don't even think Matt orders Gabumon to start charging up that attack. I think Gabumon just does it on his own.
Yeah, I think Matt's like the one that stops him, right?
Yeah, I think all Matt says is, "Where's TK?" Gabumon starts charging. And it's like, why is this not what Izzy? Why did Izzy not do this?
Oh man.
Tentomon, start charging up Electroshocker. If you don't have a good answer for me within the next few minutes.
If you don't have a good answer in the next 5 minutes, then this Tentomon's gonna overcharge and kill all of us.
It's like... it's just sometimes it's really dumb when the heroes are so passive with everything.
Yeah.
It's like, especially after all the crap they've been through, it's like, Izzy, you need to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah. Like, I can see it for Izzy, because he's not a fighter, really.
Still.
But yeah, he gets captured and Izzy, leaves behind an address, which tells where all the kids are. So, good job, Izzy.
Yeah, he leaves, coordinates. They get, prepaid phones. So, because apparently somebody's tracking them through their cell phones.
Yeah, that's another thing, because, I do want to quickly mention, it's that's probably why Izzy didn't just attack her, because he was like, oh yeah, and you're just show me right where the other kids are.
I think he already knew because it popped up on his computer.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I don't know. That might be an explanation. But yeah, that's something I do want to mention out, like the phones, because there's a whole thing where, like, the movie starts off and it's like, Matt and Ty just have phones now. And they're, like, using their phones to digivolve their Digimon somehow, because Izzy's been, like, messing around with technology and stuff.
I mean, screw it. It's more convenient to just have their Digivice ability on their phone.
Yeah. But yeah, the reason I'm
Technology.
mentioning this is because it's really interesting, because, like, you see later on, they, like, switch from their cell phones to, like, like, store-bought phones, or more like, just, like, disposable phones, or whatever you call them, I guess.
Burner phones.
Yeah, burner phones.
Yeah.
So it's like, alright, well, they don't have these again. They don't have these anymore or whatever. So it's like, alright, well, if we want to digivolve our Digimon, we have to use our actual, like, old school Digivices, right? So there's this whole idea of, like, oh yeah, like, they were kind of growing out of, like, using the Digivice, and now they're, like, going back to it again one last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it when there's, like, neat little bits of, like, visual storytelling like that. They're just, like, super subtle.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
like,
before before the stream, I think I mentioned there's not really too many lighthearted moments in this. There is a moment where Ty brings Agumon home to his like single room apartment, and Agumon beelines to the porn.
yeah.
It's the first thing. It's the first thing he does when he gets to Ty's room. Hey, what are these? And Ty like flips over him to grab them to be like, "This is not for you."
Yeah, he specifically says something like, nah, these are for grown-ups only, and he's like, oh, and I believe, like, I could be misremembering. I believe you see a pip of his Digivice go away.
Oh, do you? Oh, that'd be hilarious. Like, as sad as that is, it's hilarious.
Yeah, there are a lot of little scenes like that where it's like, like, you get to see Ty and Matt just hanging out drinking beer. And
Yeah,
that's such
yeah,
a wild, like, image for me.
yeah. I was like, I think even before that, Ty sits down at his table and he's got like a can on. He's got like a can with his food. And I'm like, is that beer? And it's like, oh yeah, they're old. Like Japan drinking age is like 18.
Yeah.
I think 21's only the standard in America. Like almost everywhere else, it's like 18. So they're super able to just go out and have a drink.
Yeah. Like, tried so hard to be, like, mature by being darker. And it's like, oh yeah, you just, 1 second of Ty just, like, talking about his job while drinking beer, and it's like, nah, this is the more mature version, easily.
Yeah. Yeah, they're sitting at like a hibachi with like beers. And it's like, okay, yeah, I believe they're grown-ups in this scene because they're acting like it.
Yeah. He's like talking, it's like, oh yeah, I really just hate that job working at the game parlor or whatever.
Yeah. I want to point out that I don't believe drinking makes you mature.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I
but
really
like,
am.
This is the real world, though. Yeah, this is what realistically happens.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not crazy about drunks.
Yeah, you never quite get like, well, you get smart. You never quite get wiser or more capable, really. But you do get access to money and alcohol. But
Oh yeah, in the dub, Ty would confront him about the porn. He's like, "It's nothing," and Agumon goes, "Well, if it's nothing, let me see them."
I have to wonder, like, how would Agumon react to that?
Complete, like, probably like confusion and like just not being sure what to think about it because he's a Digimon.
Like, would Agumon just be like, is it weird that I'm naked? And Ty's like, no. Well, actually, maybe. I know now that you mention it.
Okay. Also, I don't see like a light pip going down on his circle during that scene, but it's a funny idea.
That's totally me just misremembering that. I just like the implication that it's like, yo, there's going out there like, hey Ty, how's your job? And he's like, oh yeah, it really sucks. And you see the lights start to fade, and he's like, I mean, it's fun and exciting every day. And it comes back. It's like you have to keep from falling into the traps. Yeah, just looks over his taxes and he's like, oh, I have to be very careful. And he's like trying to like write numbers down but do it in a way that's not too adult. He's like, starts like writing down like number 4 and you just see a pimp start to fade and he's like, ugh. I need to pay rent though.
Yeah, it's weird. I like this movie more than Try. I'd like it more if they handled the ending better.
Would you, like, just straight up, would you like it more if the Digimon stuck around?
I would like it if it was like the Digimon don't just vanish, they go back to the digital world and like talking to your partner or like you'll never be able to go to the digital world again. That seems fair.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair workaround. Like, you can still be friends, but, you know, you won't be, like, with each other all the time anymore.
Yeah, your Digimon can't come to the real world. You can't go to the digital world. But there might be ways to like if Izzy tries hard enough, they might be able to stay in contact at least.
Yeah, because, like, I think it'd be fair for him to stay in contact, but I also, like, at the same time, like, I don't think it'd hit nearly as hard if it's like, oh, there's still a way that you could maybe, like, make this work or something, right? Like, I feel like,
So
at the end of it, like, for it to work, they would have had to have, like, gone for good. Or it's like, oh, well, maybe there's a chance, right?
I don't know. Like
I feel like it wouldn't hit nearly as hard.
yeah. Like in the very end of the movie, there is a scene where like Ty is like just like running down a street like under some cherry trees or something. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure we'll see them again someday or whatever. All you have to do is replay like you have the scene in the end where they fade away, but then the ending scene is like and it's like you have your emotional moment and everything. And then the end scene is like I don't know, is he contacting Ty and Matt and like a screen flicks on and you hear Agumon's voice or something.
I'm not sure how I'd feel about that, honestly. Cause, like, I don't want them to, like, just sort of, like, cheat their way out of it, right? Like, I want to be like, oh, like, we kind of tricked you out and all these feelings were for nothing or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, I'd have to see what that would be like in the full context and then see how I feel about it, I think.
Yeah. People are gonna think I just can't handle like a sad ending. That's not true. It's just it.
Yeah.
Digimon's the last thing I expect to be like depressing in the end.
Yeah,
There's
because,
always
like, I
there's
feel like
always
that's
been
super normal, honestly, because, like, like,
there's
as I
always
mentioned,
been
like, these are characters we've, like, grown up with over, like, decades. So, like, of course it's, like, it feels bad to lose them.
every Digimon series has always had like a glimmer of hope in the end that like they'll be able to continue their friendship with their Digimon who they've been on all these adventures with. Like
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this one's just like, no, they're gone. They're dead.
They're gone.
and and the theme of the movie is clearly, don't stay trapped in your past and grow up and everything. But like,
Can we
I don't,
can we
most
discuss the
people.
big alpha in the room for a second?
What's the?
Of how absolutely baffling it is to have like an entire movie about like, oh yeah, you have to move on, you can't be stuck in the past and stuff, like Agumon's gone, we have to like continue on with the next generation and stuff. While like the Adventure Toy Toy reboot is currently airing.
Yeah, yeah, it is kind of funny that it's like, move on and grow up. But hey, here's a reboot of the original series.
Do you like to see TIE fight Ogremon again? Oh man, that Devimon sure was cool, huh? Boy, I can't wait until we get War Greymon again. Oh, it's gonna be awesome to relive that nostalgia.
So how much of 2020 have you watched at this point?
Not anymore since last time, honestly. I haven't gone around to it. So it's like last episode was the Mimi episode.
Can I give a very, very slight spoiler?
Sure, go for it.
I promise it's relevant. Do you know who War Greymon fights?
No.
Crossmon, who is an evolution of Parrotmon.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's
And
pretty
in
alright.
in fact, the episode like where they get War Greymon starts with them fighting Parrotmon. And then he evolves into Crossmon and totally wrecks them.
But yeah, just the idea that this is happening while the 2020 reboot is going on is like it's baffling.
And referencing its old material not part of its own canon. Because there's no indication that they had a Greymon battle versus Parrotmon as kids in this canon. They're just doing that to reference the old series in general.
Well, there's one implication, because like everyone's like, like they're into the big Val and stuff. There's a moment where like the other tamers are being like controlled by Eosmon, and Tai just grabs Kari's whistle and blows into it, and you see a clip from like the old like OVA where like like Greymon fights Parrotmon.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like they reanimated or anything. I think they just took that actual scene from the movie.
Yeah, this took the straight like footage.
Which is fine. I kind of like it that they didn't like reanimate it in this like.
Yeah.
This movie's animation style, by the way, I'm pretty sure it's all like digital.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it at least. If nothing else, they're getting into the CGI and stuff.
Yeah, it looks good, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like, it's not as eye-catching as Try's art style was, but like, I think it's a good direction. Cause like, this movie makes like a CGI final boss Digimon look good. And if you can do that, then that's gonna do like wonders for the series overall. Cause like, if you can take like complex design and just make it something where you don't have to redraw like War Greymon's effing like, pipes every single frame, then that's amazing. That's like such a good use of time and like money and stuff.
Yeah, Eosmon looks crazy. Also, its abilities are crazy. It can just spawn like light barriers and cut limbs off.
Yeah.
It's like cutting Omnimon to pieces in their fight.
And Omnimon's still fighting too.
Because Omnimon's awesome.
Like that moment where it's like she cuts off like the end of his cannon, and Omnimon's just like, what?
Time to start fighting with the sword.
Yeah, I guess I'll have another arm to use. Man, like, Well, I was gonna be like, I wonder if you cut off Omnimon's arms, would the body still function? But no, we know it kinda does, because that happened in, like, the O2 movie. With, like, Armageddon.
Oh, speaking of that, didn't they blow the whistle in that one too? Or somebody just yells? What is it?
It's something really weird. I forget exactly what it was. I think you just hear a whistle out of nowhere, and no one's blowing it, and no one, like, mentions it.
Okay, because I was thinking that when they did the whistle scene in Last Evolution, and I was like, wait a minute, didn't we do this in the Revenge of Diaboromon thing?
Man, that the entire way that scene goes down, like, it feels like, they, like, had it written out and, like, totally in post, someone was just watching it back and they're like, oh yeah, like, if you've never seen that, like, OVA with Parrotmon, if you've never seen, like, the dubbed Digimon movie or whatever, if this is, like, your first entry into the franchise, then Tai just grabbing an underage girl's whistle and blowing into it super hard must be nonsense. So they had to be like, yeah, well, let's just shove a clip in there and it'll give more context. It's fine. Yeah. There's another thing I do want to quickly mention, just while we're, like, talking about the directing. And I just want to, like, point this out, because it's, like, just such a cool little detail, is that it's, like, I don't know if you remember, like, the scene where they're, like, at the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Menoa's just, like, just kind of talking about, like, her past or whatever. Yeah. There's, like, a really cool detail where it's, like, she's talking about, like, how her Digimon left her, and she's like, no, but, like, I'm fine, I'm over it. As she's saying that, you can, like, she's next to a window, and, like, it's raining outside. So they've, like, placed the shot in such a way where it's like, the shadows of the rain are, like, dripping down the side of her face. And as she says that, one of the drops, like, showers just goes right down, like, under her eye, like she's crying. And it's such a cool little detail.
Hold on, I thought she was actually crying. Let me...
No, it's, like, a shadow from one of the, like, raindrops outside. At the pool scene. Because, like, later on, they, like, call back to it, and they're like, no, we know you're just, like, upset losing your Digimon. We can tell you're crying on the inside. And it's like, oh, that's so good.
Oh, yep, I saw it. It's totally the shadow from the rain.
It's such a cool little detail.
Okay, yeah, it's like, no, she's not over it. She is super not over it.
Like, I love the director in this movie. This movie's great.
It looks really good. I just don't like the ending.
Yeah, like, and it's kind of weird how much, like, higher I am on this than you are, because I'm sitting here, it's like, no, for me this feels like it's up there with maybe, like, our war game or something.
Like I said, I like everything about the movie, I just don't like the implication that the reward for all their hard work is depression.
Yeah. Wait a second, but no, it's not depression, because Tai and Matt move on. Well, I guess for them at least.
Yeah, they looked really stoked, like holding their shaking hands as they, like, cry their eyes out as their partners fade away.
I mean, yeah, but, like, at the end, they're, like, smiling up there, it's like, yeah, I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings.
I don't know, it feels bad.
Yeah, feels bad. Like, that's the thing I have to keep coming back to, because it's like, I like that it feels bad. Because it's like, oh, they hit it so hard. It's like, oh man, no, but Gabumon, though. And you're just like, oh man, just go think about my own life, and it's like, man, remember just all those hobbies you used to have as a kid that you just gave up on, and it's like, oh damn.
Yeah, and I get, like, me being unable to let this go and everything is like...
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna blame you for it.
Well, it's just like the movie is kind of like you need to let like these old things go. It's like, but the ending, I don't like it.
Yeah, like, you don't want to let go.
Yeah. I want to know who's responsible for the system so they could be punished. Be it Jinai or Yggdrasil or whoever.
Yes. You know, like, that would honestly be, like, a pretty amazing sub for, like, a future movie, because, like, so they, like, give a lot of focus to the O2 kids in this one, which at least makes me think that, like, the people behind her kind of, like, banking on, like, getting interest going again, so that maybe they can do another O2 movie in the future and, like, keep the main timeline going, right?
Or they heard backlash from Try, and it's like, oh yeah, we didn't have them in the movie at all, did
Yeah.
we?
But either way, like, I feel like, maybe they could, like, go into the future and have, like, another O2 movie or something. And, like, if that's the case, I would, like, totally love to see a film where at some point, like, went to the point where, like, oh, like, Kid's going to lose his Digimon too, and he's, like, really shaken up by it and stuff. And, like, decisions have to be made, and, like, everyone has to band together to find Yggdrasil and, like, beat the shit out of it.
Screw whoever's responsible for this system.
Like, I would love a movie where, like, the O2 cast has to get together and just fight the Royal Knights. We finally get elfing, like, Valkyremon and stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna have to either take a break or we're gonna have to call it real soon.
That depends. Do we have, like, anything much else we really want to say?
I think I've gotten my point across.
I do want to quickly point out Eosmon is, like, crazy and nuts, and I kind of dig it.
It is kind of weird that there's this whole thing where it's like you'll never see your Digimon again, but then Menoa gets to see hers again.
Well, like, that's
Like,
a flashback.
no, no, because it shows after they save her or whatever, and it's like there's the silhouette of a butterfly, and you see one of the Eosmon, and it smiles as if it recognizes her.
Yeah, well, yeah, I
Like
guess that's
that
kind of true, yeah.
like that one is her Morphomon, and it came back.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably still gonna go, because, like, I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, if she's not going to jail for life, she's probably never seeing that Digimon again, anyways.
But yeah, I do like that moment where it's like, you just see how much she's, like, broken up over this, and you see a Digimon fading away, and you go back to that scene, and it says, like, I'll always remember you or something. It's like, it's so good, though.
Yeah. Like, I sympathize with Minoa, but boy, she went about everything the wrong way.
Yeah. So yeah, just, like, high praise from me. Any final thoughts, I guess?
I've made them clear.
Yeah. I guess I'll see you later then.